Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Kausha, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled A-N-D, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. Our first coincidence miracle today is from a woman who shares with us that she had a very favorite DVD movie that she had purchased, and she really enjoys watching it, and she was all set one Sunday to sit down, Sunday evening, to sit down and watch it, looking forward to it. And when she went to play it, her DVD wasn't working, and so she was obviously frustrated and stressed. She was looking forward to it, and so she decided to say a prayer, to ask God to fix her DVD so she could watch the movie, the DVD recorder, and she said a prayer, and it worked. Now, I'm sharing this with you because some of you may not think this is possible to do, but about 3 months ago, I shared with you about a family where the mother had taught the children from the earliest age. She had taught them to pray for everything, and it was a large family. They didn't have a lot of money. And whenever the washing machine would break or something else, the car would have some problems, she would muster up the children and they would pray, and several mechanical things in their life would be repaired. So I'm sharing it because, God can do anything, and we think that we can only pray for certain things, but, God can do anything, absolutely anything He wants to do. The Bible is very clear about that. And we're talking about miracles here, so I wanted to share this with you because some people do pray for mechanical things to be repaired, and God does answer those prayers, and I've had a couple of them myself. If you've read my 2 books, you know that I've had a few of them myself. So I encourage everybody to pray about everything, and just remember, God can do anything He wants. There's nothing beyond His ability. I'm happy to share the next coincidence miracle with you because I actually met this person face to face. I met the person. They was a college student, and they related to me when I was asking them about miracles, if they had any miracles they could share with me. A beautiful story. Turns out they were bullied and harassed by other students when they were in 8th grade and in high school. I guess the freshman year, from the way the story worked out. And their parents were apparently very sharp and intelligent because they decided to purchase a couple of small pets I don't want to tell you what kinds of pets because I try to keep everybody confidential, but the parents decided that if they got a couple of pets and they heard from other parents who did this, that it helps tremendously with children who are being bullied and harassed in school. And I know that's a pretty chronic problem these days. And so what happened was the person became attached to the pets. They even shared with me that they could tell by the features and the behavior of the pets when the pet was trying to radiate love and affection toward her. And I reflected back on my youth when I was very young and I had a wonderful pet dog. I also, knew the dog very well, had grown up with the dog actually, but I too could look at the dog's face and their eyes and the way their tail wagged, and I could get good vibes from that as well. So this person, who's now in college, explained to me how she thought it was a good idea to share this story because it helped her tremendously beyond ways she can even explain, and she knows that other people, other friends of hers, have also experienced this kind of a result as well. So if you're having trouble with anyone who's being bullied, you might want to consider this. There are a lot of pets a lot of places where people are trying to get owners for pets, stray pets, etc. Our next story is from a woman who tells us that she was married at the age of 25, and she and her husband decided they did not want to have children. But when she reached the age of 32, she and her husband made a different decision and decided they did want to have children, but she was very strong about the fact that if she was going to have children, she wanted to make sure she was not going to have them beyond the age of 34. I don't know if she read things, but she said her understanding was that that was the best opportune time. So she may have read something or heard about some other studies, but 34 was her final date. She didn't want to get pregnant after the age of 34. So from the age of 32 to the age of 34, her and her husband were open to become pregnant, but they were not blessed with any pregnancy at all. So when she reached the age of 34, she said, well, I guess, it's just not God's will. And then she relates to us that she got a big surprise because after she passed the age of 35, she wound up getting pregnant. And she's very happy to relate to us that at this point, the child is already in high school and perfect health and doing really well, very bright, high IQ, etc. So she's just so delighted. She was concerned that in her life, for whatever reason, I don't know, but in her life she was concerned about having children beyond the age of 34. And so she's so delighted. In her eyes, it's a miracle. And I tell everybody, I've been telling everybody for many, many years, whatever is a miracle to you, anything that you think that God did, if you believe God did something for you, then that's a miracle. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks, because you have reasons. You've asked God for something, or you've hoped for God to do something. So, the only place miracles come from is they come from God. And that's why if you say it's a miracle, then that's certainly good enough for me. Our next coincidence miracle is from a woman who tells us that she was not feeling very well, and the symptoms she was experiencing gave her a lot of concern and gave her doctor a lot of concern. So the doctor ordered some tests that she went for. So she went for the tests, and on the day she was supposed to go in and see the doctor and to discuss the results of the tests, and she was very concerned about it. On the way to the doctor's office, she stopped at a store to pick something up. She was inspired. She had some time, so she was inspired really to, stop before she went to the doctor at this place. So she relates to us how she pulls into the place, and she gets a parking spot, and she notices the car parked in front of her had a license plate number 444, and she had been saying the rosary, so she knows the 3 4s is the number that reminds us of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So she was happy to see that. And then she tells us that when she came out of the store and now she's on her way to the doctor's office, she pulled out of the driveway, out of the parking lot from the store, and she found herself following a car with a license plate number 888. that took her a good distance toward the doctor. She was following this 888, and 38 is the number that reminds us of the holy name of Jesus. So, and she knows this. She knows about numbers. She's been a regular contributor to the radio show here, and she's heard about the meaning of numbers, and she read both of my books as well, which explains the holy numbers. So she was so delighted, and she's sharing with us. She went to the doctor. They discussed the tests, and everything was fine. Whatever the symptoms or causing the symptoms was, didn't turn up in any of the tests and x-rays and blood work, etc. So she was delighted, and she relates to us that seeing the holy numbers before the doctor's visit was a confirmation for her that her prayers were being answered. Our next miracle story is a beautiful story, I think. It's from a man who had a negative year, a frustrating year. He couldn't get the job he wanted. He couldn't get the house that he wanted. And he couldn't get a car that he wanted. And so he spent the year, frustrated. These desires he had, he couldn't fulfill them. And he relates to us how he was thinking about it one day, and he realized while he was thinking about it that he really had so many blessings that if he thought about his blessings, he'd be a very happy person. So he started to ponder and think about all of his blessings, and then he said what occurred to him was how the Jews, when they were in the desert for 40 years, going from Egypt to the Promised Land, they were in the desert for 40 years, and they began to complain and moan. They were getting bread, manna, bread every day in the desert, food. They didn't have to work for it. They were getting it for free. God was having the bread appear for them in the hoarfrost each morning. And so he realized that he was frustrating God like the Jews were frustrating God in the desert, because, God made the point to them, they were frustrated and complaining about the bread they were getting, and they wanted to have meat. So he did come up with a miracle and gave them meat in the desert, but God was not happy. He was saddened by their complaining that he was taking so good care of them, and now they were complaining. And so he felt like he was doing the same thing. So he says basically that his meditation got him to shape up, and since that time, he's been enjoying the things he has and being happy for the things he has and grateful to God for them, and it's turned his life around and his whole attitude. So I thought it's a beautiful story. I mean, I've gone through episodes like this in my life as well, and I think I'll take this to heart as well, too. Count your blessings and be grateful and thankful, and don't be so sad and negative when you can't get everything that your eyes see and you'd like to have. I think that's a good message for all of us. Most of you know that I'm a miracle hunter. I'm always on the hunt for miracles, and I ask a lot of people to tell me their miracle stories. I find most people do have miracle stories if you ask them about them. I saw a bus driver taking a break at a park recently, so I approached the bus and I said, told him about our radio show and my 2 books about miracle stories. I said, do you have any miracles you can tell me about in your life? And he laughed and he said, I'm a miracle. I'm a walking miracle. He said, it took me 2 years to survive bladder cancer, and now I found out I got prostate cancer, and I've been working at that for about 6 months, and I'm told by the doctor I'm making good progress. So he said, it's totally changed my life. I never used to think about God at all, but I got to tell you, he's my very best friend now. So you see, having miracles certainly changes your life, eh? God bless you all. I'll talk to you next week.